Welcome back, guys, to Vibe Theory. I am your girl, L Boogie.
And I'm busy.
Yes. All right. So, team, we got something real special and nice for you guys tonight, right? We're going to be stepping into 1996, 30 years ago, and
Yes.
talking about one of the most prolific albums ever recorded. We're going to be breaking down Tupac's All Eyes on Me, why it mattered then and why it still matters now. So we're going to
Okay.
just hop right into this, guys, and begin this discussion. So one of the things I do want to point out that this album here was primarily produced by Johnny J and Daz Dillinger, with contributions from Tupac himself, Dr. Dre, DJ Quick,
Mm-hmm.
Delvante Swing, and Doug Rashid. So let's just go ahead and hop into it. So let's just begin.
So diving into this because it's been a minute since I listened to it, and so going back listening to it, I was like, oh wait, oh yeah, I forgot this was on here. I forgot this was on here. So and so diving in, Apple considers it on the list of 100 best albums. Best
Uh-huh.
albums, not best rap album, best hip hop, best album.
Best album. Okay.
So, so that speaks volumes. And then going into it, I mean, this is his only, now let me stress that, only diamond certified album. And it features his only number one single. How do you want it? So, so
Wait, wait,
going
wait, wait,
in,
wait, wait, wait. So California Love wasn't the number one single?
California Love was a number one single as well. But this album is the only album that holds number one album songs for him.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So he did have success with his what was it, 1993 album, which
Me
was
Against the World.
no, strictly for my
What? Oh, Strictly
yeah.
for My Ends. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah. So he had success with that. That's really the album that started to get him noticed
Getting
and had
noticed. That's true.
commercial success. But it was All Eyes on Me that really boosted him
Catapulted.
to where he was. And so when you said you wanted to have this discussion, that's where I started diving in, like, okay, what was different then versus now from his musical standpoint? And that's really how I wanted to really look at this body of
Okay.
work, because All Eyes on Me was the first double rap album ever.
Absolutely. Ever. Ever. No one
27
had ever
songs.
done anything. Exactly.
Yeah,
No one had ever done anything
27
like that.
songs. No. So, and I mean, and on top of that, this was a different style from what
Okay.
he ever did.
So let's start there, because that was something
Yeah.
that I kept coming back to. The fact of the matter that he actually kept reaching back, because George Clinton, Roger Troutman, all of these cats are on here. He's paying
Mm-hmm.
homage. But the one biggest thing that kind of stood out for me was that this was a funk rap album. So G-funk, you know what I'm saying? It was
Mm-hmm.
literally the G-funk gangster funk,
Yep.
gangster rap.
Yep.
And it was just amazing how the sound was very funky. And hip
Mm-hmm.
hop, it was something completely different from what was doing on the East Coast. That sound that
It
was on
was.
the East Coast.
It
So I
was.
think that was something that, again, makes it stand out even more, for the simple fact because it was, again, giving us a glimpse into the Bay Area and that sound.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this on the last episode with Kalani.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's crazy how all circles kind of go back to the same thing, So
Mm-hmm.
oh my goodness, this is divine. But the fact of the matter that we have that funk influence that is heavily through this body of work,
Oh
it
yeah.
still resonates today. It's
Oh
still
yeah.
different. It's still
Oh yeah.
different.
Oh
But
yeah.
we can
West Coast rap is
see,
still different. Yeah.
but we can see where that influence trickles down to those rappers again that are from the West Coast,
Yeah.
i.e., Kendrick Lamar,
Yep. Yep.
TDE.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
I mean, you're right because West Coast rap, West Coast hip hop, in itself is different. You know, because it's it's hard, but yet it's also that party side too.
Right.
And that's really what All Eyes on Me was. I mean, let's look at it from this perspective. You had Tupac who was just getting out of prison,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you had that and him signing with Death Row Records. And that's a lot. That's a
Exactly.
lot. And so the album itself, it was a party, it was frustration, it was a lot of different emotions on
It
this album,
all wrapped into one.
all
Mm-hmm.
wrapped up into one, hence why we have 27 songs.
Right.
Um,
He had a lot of
you
frustration.
know,
He had a lot of Anna on
yeah,
his chest.
yeah. And and comparing that to what he did in the East Coast, where his lyrics were very political. And so it makes me ask the question, did he have more success with All Eyes on Me because it wasn't politically focused? Or was it more popular because of the style? It was a party. And so that's kind of where I'm going to ask that question because, because that's really what really kickstarted him. I mean, with Brenda Had a Baby, and you had his one song of with Digital Underground, um, which right now I can't even think of the
All
name
around
of
the
it.
world, the same song.
Not that one. Full
That's when he made his debut, though. He was featured on that one.
that yes, but it's the one song where he's in the
Round
pool
and
and
round, round and
yes,
round. Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
So so it's that question of you know, were people tired of the political lyrics and they just wanted to have fun in '96, or was he ready to
Wow.
reinvent himself?
Okay, so that's interesting. That's an interesting angle to look at it because I think he didn't have. I mean, because if you listen to some of the lyrics on Our Lives, and he do address a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
Really didn't step away truly, completely from
Mm-hmm.
politics, but I think from him coming out of jail, and
Mm-hmm.
then the things that happened to him prior to that, he really that wasn't his focus at that point. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what I would say with this particular. He was more or less just frustrated and he wanted to get his point across because he felt like he was double crossed. He felt like he was,
Okay.
targeted. So again, but if you listen, it's there. It's there. But yes, to answer your question, that was not really truly the focus, though, the primary focus
Mm-hmm.
of the album. So that
Yeah.
could have sparked the reason why it was so successful was two. So I would agree with that because it
Yeah.
wasn't political.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't because because let's really think about it. I mean, that's what he was known for was, putting a spotlight on things that were really going on in the
Right.
streets. He
Right.
really at the time, I mean, if you think about it, because uh, his first album was dropped in '91. And
Right.
let's really, really look at it from this perspective. His career spanned 5 years.
That's it. It was a short window. It literally was a short
five
window, but
years.
he did
hmm
so much
He
within that.
did. He did. And so that's again, that's where I asked that question. When he joined Death Row, was it a chance for him to reinvent himself, or because he was under the thumb of Suge Knight, was he forcing him to change it? Because here's the interesting part
Mm.
about why he released two albums. He released two albums because of his contract.
Yeah, he was just trying to he was trying to hurry up and fulfill the contract so he could move
Yep,
on.
yep, exactly. Exactly. And so that's part of it. And and I mean, and with all of those hits, I mean, you know, going back listening to it, I mean, yes, it still holds up. And that's why it's
Yes.
considered one of the greatest albums of all
Yes.
time, because of the music that he provided in this. I mean, it's a great body of work. I mean,
Absolutely.
like I said, because some of the songs I even forgot was on there. I mean,
Hmm.
going down the list, I mean, you've got uh shoot, let me see. You've got um
Ambitious as a writer. That
yeah.
to me, the very first song, I love
Yeah.
that. The beat
I do
itself is
too.
just funky as heck,
I
and
do
it's
too.
like you got the one that stood out for me again was "Can't See Me."
Mhm.
That's the one with George Clinton. He let this
Yeah.
man just riff.
Yeah.
This song is so long. I'm like, God. And again, the original California Love, the original song was 6 minutes and 29 seconds.
Mhm.
That was the original.
Yeah.
they came back and did the remix,
Remix. Yeah.
6:26. So they only
Yeah.
shaved a couple minutes off of it. The single itself is where it came down to 4 minutes and
Mhm.
45 seconds. Still
Yeah.
long for a hip hop song.
Yeah.
So again, he let Roger just freak out for a good remainder of the ending of the song.
He did.
Oh man, this was a masterclass in one paying homage to the music that we grew up on
Mhm.
because he grew up on. That was a part of our generation. But then
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just boy, Lord have mercy. It just that was
Well, I
an amazing
mean,
song,
and you
amazing
saw
album.
that, but here's the thing, he also paid homage to East Coast
Yeah,
musicians as
because he
well.
had Method
Be-
Man on there.
he had Method Man and Redman on there, but then also
Yeah,
he had a song where he was sampling Morris Day and the Time. So,
exactly.
you know.
Look, look, he got a song, Only God Can Judge Me, got Rapping Forte on it.
Yeah.
Again, it was crazy that the people, this is the bonds and just
Mhm.
the love that these folks really truly have on him. It's
Yeah.
still, they went ahead and went out to the West Coast, did this stuff, laid this stuff down with this guy.
Yeah.
Again, this was masterclass. It really was a masterclass, and I just want to say kudos to this particular body of work.
Yeah.
JoJo and Casey, Devontae Swing coming in there
Yep.
getting on "How Do You Want It." He let
And I
them
mean,
freak. He let them
yeah.
freak on the end of the track. It's JoJo and Casey and them just screaming.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
And I mean,
amazing.
and what's sad about this is that he truly did not get a chance to see this body of work grow and come to fruition as much as it has. Because
To be the
I
classic
mean,
that it is today.
he
Yeah,
he
I
passed
would agree.
7 months after this was released.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so, he probably didn't even see this being his best album, you know. And some may argue whether or not this is his best album, you know, because for me, I am a fan of Tupac.
I
It's
am too.
always that discussion of, is it Tupac, is it
A
Biggie?
biggie.
And I was one of those. I was Team Tupac. I'm still
I
Team
was too.
Tupac. I'm
I don't have
still,
anything by Big, but I still love some of the stuff
yeah,
that Big put out. But I don't own anything by Big per se. But I do own something by Tupac, or multiple things by Tupac. I love Tupac. I was always Team
yeah.
Tupac.
And see, and here's the thing for me. I actually enjoyed his body of work under Machiavelli.
Yes, that was the most important one. Again, the Machiavelli. Oh my God, that opened us up to a whole nother world of Tupac. Really, I think
Hmm.
that's when we really started to get into his mindset. We
Yeah.
got a glimpse of actually what he stood for, how he,
Mm-hmm.
just, oh my God. It was just, to me, it was like a glimpse into his poetry book. We really got a
Was.
chance
It
to
really
really just
was.
see how this guy put words together. It was amazing.
It really was because I mean, uh, it was a honestly to me it was a 180 from All Eyes on Me. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
even though All Eyes on Me was party, it was anger, it was poetic, Machiavelli was truly thought provoking to me.
Very much so.
And that's kind of the difference. You had two versions of Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
You actually had Tupac and you had Machiavelli.
Right.
Two different
And just
people.
two different people, and it was almost like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of thing.
Yeah.
One was cinematic, the other was of the street. So it was like you
Yeah.
have this cinematic person in Machiavelli, because I really think that Machiavelli was cinematic. The way,
Hmm.
just the way it opened up, with the bells ringing and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It was just, you don't know what you're about to get. Is it a horror flick? Is it a drama? Is it a thriller? It was crazy. You didn't know where he was going to take you with this piece.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's woo. We got to talk about
Yeah.
that one too in another
We do.
episode,
We
Machiavelli,
do
because
because I mean, because that one with the lyrics, you know,
mm,
don't get me started. But but going back to All Eyes on Me, I mean, he had those moments where he did share his poetic thoughts. Because I
mm-hmm,
think that's one thing with Tupac is that he was never going to get away from
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 that.
from that and sharing his thoughts because he was that type of artist, pen to paper, and
Exactly.
that's really who he was, and I think that's what made him an icon, um, even with having so short of a career, because he was really that first artist who was considered a gangster rapper to really have thought provoking lyrics,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and so that's kind of where, fast forward from 2000, from 1991 to 1996, where we get All Eyes on Me, his last studio album, where we're looking at, honestly, just so many different um, points in his life that he really touched on with this album. And I think,
Right.
honestly, I really think All Eyes on Me was truly a lyrical diary. I mean,
Okay.
especially with his song like I Ain't Mad at You, which
Yeah.
that's one of my faves still.
Right.
Where
It was so deep
honestly,
and so
it was.
personal. It's like
It was.
he pulled you in to how he really personally was feeling. We
Yeah.
really got a glimpse into his softer side on
We got
I Ain't Mad. Oh my
yeah,
God.
a glimpse at a softer side, but also it was almost kind of ironic the route that he took with this video because that song was released or the video was released
Mm-hmm.
not
Right
too
after he
long
died.
before he passed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if I'm remembering correctly, he had passed in this video as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Because
so for
he's
that,
talking from the afterlife.
exactly. And so it's almost kind of like it was he saw this
Yeah, he
happening.
had a premonition. Yeah, I felt like
Yeah,
that he had a premonition. And then if you look at the placement of that song, where it's placed as far as on the album,
yeah,
it really felt like maybe he did have that premonition as he was recording everything. I don't know. I
yeah.
mean,
I don't
ooh,
know.
it makes
I
you
mean,
wonder.
it does. It really does because I mean, because what some of these songs, only God can judge me.
Mm-hmm.
The things that he's done and that did end up causing him to go to jail and to go to prison. I mean, again, that's why I think just All Eyes on Me was his personal journal,
Mm-hmm.
and he
It
shared that
was.
with the world.
It was. It
Um,
was. It was. It was. Oh my God. But so now I got a question. So
yeah.
do you think that could Kendrick's West Coast pride exist the way it does without this album laying the foundation?
Ooh.
Because
Okay.
that's what I got
Okay.
after going back and revisiting this album 30 years later.
Okay. Okay. I can see where you're going with this because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because Kendrick is one of those that's poetic as well.
Right.
Um, and so, and their styles are somewhat similar in essence of lyrics.
I'm glad you said
The
that.
you know
Somewhat.
somewhat.
Yes,
You know,
somewhat.
Kendrick is not a
Mm-hmm.
gangster rapper.
No.
You know,
Mm-mm.
he is not a gangster rapper.
Mm-mm.
And so that's where I say, the penmanship of lyrics. Now that's where they have that similar style, pen to paper with poetic lyrics. Um, and so I would probably say he probably is an influence for Kendrick, but here's my question then. Is it the West Coast Tupac that influenced him, or is it
Or
the
East
East
Coast?
Coast Tupac
I'm
that
glad you
influenced
said that.
him?
I think it was a combination of both. I'm glad you said that because
Yeah,
I really do believe, Beezy, this was a combination of both.
yeah.
He, with him, and again, it could be timing too, because we got to think about
Mhm.
how old Kendrick was when he got introduced and which side of
Mhm.
Tupac did he get introduced to.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that's going to lay heavily on his parents and whomever, his uncles or whatever, whoever influenced
Yeah,
him to Tupac. So
yeah.
yeah, but I really do think it was maybe he got introduced to the gangster side, which allowed you to
Mhm.
go down deeper into the rabbit hole to start going back to his earlier stuff and start
Mhm.
listening there and like, wow, so he did do that and he did make mention of XYZ what's going on in the community. So
Yeah,
who knows?
yeah.
But that's
So
a great question. That's a great
so
question.
then so then here's my other question for you. Is this album considered one of the greatest of all time
Absolutely.
because it's Tupac's last album, studio
Nope.
album?
Uh-uh. I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I think it's because of what he was going through. You just broke it down. It was
Mhm.
literally a diary. And
Okay.
it's crazy how Kendrick comes back with the Mad Diary. So again, we're not, he named his
Yeah.
album Mad Diary. So again, look, man, things can come full circle.
Yeah.
It's just how interpretation. It's
Okay.
just the interpretation. So I don't think that this was the best album on the strength of because this was his final studio album. I really
Okay.
do think it was great because you could hear the passion, you could hear the conviction, you could hear the pain, how he was truly and truly hurt by
Yeah.
who he thought was a friend. And
Mhm.
it's like everything that he put his blood, sweat, and tears on that thing. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, he literally was trying to get out from under. He probably saw some stuff and like, man, this ain't me, but I got to do what I got to do. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? To get up out of here. But again, he tried to make good of a bad situation, or I don't know. Maybe he didn't feel like it was bad. I don't. We can't. We weren't there. We weren't
Mhm.
there, so we don't really know truly what he was going through. But I would
Mhm.
truly like to say that I could feel his pain, his conviction throughout this entire project, and I feel like it was really one of his greatest. But because again, he did something in hip hop that we didn't see anymore until years later, and
Yeah.
I would have to say that will be Outcast
Yeah.
to another
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
That's coming
Okay.
up next. So I
That'll be
mean,
another conversation. And
that's another conversation because we got another 30 years that we got to celebrate them as well. So okay,
so
I'm just saying it's
I mean,
about
I feel you. I feel you. And I mean, and honestly, and here's where I will say with this, and I do agree with you. Um, I do think that this album would still be considered one of the greatest albums of all time, even if he were still with us. I honestly do. Because of the musical influence. And we've already compared that with one of the biggest rap artists today, which is Kendrick Lamar. So because you do see that influence, you hear that influence.
Right.
But
Exactly.
also, as you've pointed out, the people that he partnered with in this album, that in
Mm-hmm.
itself really is historic because
Mm-hmm.
you really didn't have rap artists doing that back in the day. I mean, you've
Exactly.
had, appearances here and there and everything else, but then on top of that, it was the beginning of that G Funk era that was really getting started with Nate Dogg and everything and having him on the tracks. And
Mm-hmm.
then Tupac and Snoop being on a couple of the tracks too, where Snoop was going through his legal troubles too.
That's right. At the
Uh,
same time. So it
yeah,
was
on the
like,
same time. So it
whew.
was, it was that, looking at it from a perspective of it was that war on rap,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
you had two of rap's biggest artists who were facing legal issues
Mm-hmm.
and then partnering with Dr. Dre too.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, the just the body of work, it was going to be one of the best albums of all time,
It
and
it
hence what we have today.
right. It really truly was one of those things that it was gonna be prolific
Yeah,
any way you cut it. Because
yeah,
again, like you said, just the timing. I mean, we had
yep,
C. Dolores Tucker,
hmm,
Reverend Calvin Butts. All these folks was coming against gangster rap.
yep, yep,
So we coming right out of self destruction,
yep,
boom, into this. So it's like, woo wee, what we got going on?
yeah.
Literally, the West Coast was on a blaze. So
It was.
again, different standpoints. One thing I do want to point out about California Love, as far as the concept of the video, this is something that I found out as well. The concept of the video was based on by Jada Pinkett Smith. Um, you guys can take with that if you want. It's kind of interesting. we keep, we keep finding out
Situations.
ugh, the entanglement thing, like Jada. Jada was,
Oh,
yeah. So you guys can do with that
yeah,
whatever. And it was basically inspired by the Mad Max,
of
Beyond
course, of
Thunderdome,
course.
and was
Yeah.
directed by Hype Williams. So again, a lot of things that really was elements to this project that at the time, again, you just doing something, but then when you step back and you bring that lens back, you're years later, you're like, oh, we actually did that. We did
Hmm.
that. So again, there was a lot of points on this, and then the song itself was also nominated for a Grammy for
Hmm.
best rap performance by a duo or group in
Oh yeah.
1997.
Oh yeah. I
And
mean, that was a joint. I mean, you
yes,
had Zap, you
yes,
had, and then I mean, let's be honest. Everybody and their mama still like Under the Thunderdome, whatever you want to call the darn movie, Mad Max.
Mad Max,
Everybody like that. I still like that
Tina
song.
Turner
Tina
doing
Turner.
the doing
We
the doing
don't
the.
we
Come
don't
on,
need another hero.
we don't
But
need another
anyway.
hero.
But no, I mean everybody liked Mad Max, and I mean, and I'm gonna be honest. When I saw the video, that's where my mind
That's my mind
automatically
went
went to.
completely to that.
And honestly, I think that's probably partially what helped with propelling this album to be mainstream as well, because the
And
videos
again, that's
help.
what I'm saying. This is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. Tupac was so ingrained with culture and moving and reaching back to those who
Mm-hmm.
he stood on the shoulders of. George Clinton,
Yep.
Robert Troutman,
Yep.
Roger Troutman, and again, just paying homage to Tina Turner. It's Tina Turner.
Mm-hmm.
She's an icon. He could have easily went with whomever was hot as far as one of his
Mm-hmm.
peers, but he didn't do that. You know,
Nope.
so again, we gotta have it has to be tipped off to this man because he foreseen
Absolutely.
something that I wish that more of the younger ones would reach back to the
Mm-hmm.
ones that you're standing on the shoulders of. Because again, you would not be here if it wasn't for the ones that came before you.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's what hip hop is about. You know, it started out with
Mm-hmm.
two turntables and some speakers. You know, come on now.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it was,
So,
rapping off of cookout music. I call
hey,
it
there you
cookout
go.
music.
There you go. And so, my last question for you, and I know this is going to be a hard one to think about, but I
Okay.
want to put it out there for you. So, here's my question. If Tupac were here with us today, do you think that he would still be doing the West Coast influence? Or do you think he would have gone back to his roots, East Coast?
I really do think he would have went back to his roots. And again, yeah, he would have went back to his roots, or he would have changed it to something totally different. I, I,
Okay.
I really saw him as an innovator, moving the gamut, moving the needle, but he still would have talked and spoke from the people.
Mm-hmm.
That he would have done,
Okay.
and it would have been whatever genre
Yeah.
by now that we have
Yeah.
now, But yeah, I truly believe that, Um,
Mm-hmm.
but that's for another story as well, because you could dive deeper into that as well.
You could.
Uh,
You could.
because he was doing some things behind the scenes. And there's
He
probably a
was.
lot of stuff that we don't know about
Mm-hmm.
that but yeah, I can see
Yeah.
him doing that.
Yeah. And we're not going to get into conspiracy theorists in
Oh
this
no, 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 no,
episode.
definitely not.
We're
Definitely
not
not.
doing conspiracy
Definitely
theories. We ain't
not.
even going
Definitely
to jump
not
into
doing
that.
that.
But honestly, I would probably agree with you. I think, honestly, after he fulfilled his contract with Death Row, I honestly think he would have gotten back to what he was doing, or he would have continued to record under the moniker Machiavelli.
Machiavelli.
That is
Yeah, as an
honestly
alias.
where I think where he was really going. Because again, like I said, that for me, that is for me, and I can only speak for
I
me.
agree with
That is
you.
that is one of his better or best albums to me,
Uh-huh.
and I still play it to this day,
Yeah.
because of the music that's really ingrained in it, and the lyrics and
Mm-hmm.
the poetic flow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I honestly think that was the direction he was going if he were still with us, to be
Right.
very honest. So that's
Right.
really what I think. But
Right.
hey, we'll never know.
We'll never
But
know.
he will
Sad to
continue to,
say, we will never
yeah,
know. Yeah.
exactly. But he'll continue to live on in his music, and yeah, and I mean, and that's really, really what we can do. And I mean, because those lyrics are still real, that
Mm-hmm.
pain is still real that we see
It's
every
still real.
day.
Absolutely.
Um, so yeah, so I mean that's why this album is still considered 30 years later one of the best
One of the
albums
best. One of the
of
best
all
albums.
time.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, if you enjoyed this conversation, and because I know that everybody's going to be talking about this, again, keep it going, please. We love to hear from you. Please share your thoughts. Tell us what is your favorite song or track off of the album.
Yeah.
Do you like this one or do you like this too? We would love to hear your feedback. Again, please follow us on all the socials. And don't forget, you can watch the full episode on YouTube at Vibe Theory Podcast. Okay. Until the next time, you guys know the mantra: protect your peace and keep the vibe.
Keep
Till
the
next time,
vibe.
guys. Peace.
Peace.